Hi YouTube! In this video I want to show you a very inexpensive Dualsim LTE phone that I got from eFox. This phone is called the ViewSonic V500. It comes in a white box with a ViewSonic logo on the front. It comes with a 5V USB wall charger, a micro USB data and charging cable. They also include some earphones that I haven't tested. They also include a second back cover with a silver ViewSonic logo, and it has no service provider branding right here. And last but not least, it also comes with some Chinese instruction manuals. This phone has a 5.5 inch capacitive 5-point multi-touchscreen with a 1080 by 1920 Full HD pixel resolution. It is an IPS display and it also looks like a one-glass solution. It has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 quad-core CPU inside, which is clocked at 1.2 GHz. It has 2 GB of RAM, 16 GB of internal memory, and it also supports TF cards up to I don't know. It runs on Android 4.4.2 KitKat. It is a Triband, it is totally unlocked, and it supports 3G and 4G in one of the SIM slots. It has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, AGPS, it also supports GLONASS and BEIDOU. It has a G sensor, proximity sensor, and a light sensor. It also has a firmware update over the air feature, but I don't know if that's working. It has two cameras, one main camera with a 13 megapixel output, autofocus and an LED flash, and one selfie cam with a 2 megapixel output. And of course this phone is a dual SIM, dual standby phone. It weighs about 178 grams and it's about 8.7 millimeters thick. Let's take a closer look at the phone. We have the front-facing camera, the proximity and light sensor right here. The home, back and menu buttons are soft touch buttons and they light up nicely. We can also see the microphone right here. On the bottom we can see the USB port. On the left side we can find a volume rocker. On top a 3.5mm headphone jack. On the right side we have the power button. On the back we have the main camera, the LED flash, a ViewSonic logo, and it also has a China Mobile service provider branding right here, and this is your speaker. And this back cover feels a little rubbery, and if I can get this open for you I can show you the inside of the phone. On the inside we can see that it takes one regular size SIM card, one micro SIM card, this is your TF card slot, and this is a 2500 mAh battery. Like always, I installed additional apps and games for demonstration purposes. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment sections below. If you like this video, and I'm talking about this video, not about this phone, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to find out more, please stay tuned. The stock launcher is quite fast, but it can be laggy sometimes. The firmware is very clean. I only found one Chinese app on it which I could uninstall right away, which is good news. Let's start by going into the settings. Let's check out about the phone. We can see it's running on Android 4.4.2 KitKat, and we can also check for firmware updates, and as you can see it says server unavailable, so I have no idea if firmware updates over the air are working or not. Let's check out the languages and input. Let's see which languages are supported on this firmware. Here we have all the languages. Back into the settings, let's check out the storage. Now here's the good news, the entire memory is available for installing apps and games, so there is no partition and no split up memory at all. Let's check out the dual SIM settings, and we can choose which SIM card is supposed to be the data SIM card. But, and here's a big but, if I change to the second SIM card, it will tell me that both SIM cards will only work on 2G only. So only one SIM slot, and that is SIM slot 1, is available for 3G and 4G. Let me go into mobile networks to show you. You can choose which mode you want to prefer. So 3G, 4G, 2G is working, but 4G and 3G only on SIM card 1. Back into the settings, anything else I can show you here? I guess not. Now usually I would go into the engineer mode right now to show you the supported frequencies, but unfortunately that only works on MediaTek CPUs, so in this case I cannot confirm the frequencies, we just have to take the manufacturer's word for it. Let's check out some Google apps. Let's start with the Play Store. the Play Store is working just fine and it came out of the box, so that is not a problem at all. Let's check out YouTube. YouTube, here we go. Come on. Please load. Let me just start a random video. Let me turn down the volume and let me go into the settings. And let's check out the quality, and yes, you can see it supports video playback up to 720p, but that's all. No full HD playback on this phone, and it's working fine, so YouTube is working. Next up, let's check out Google Maps, and it finds my location, so that means that the Google location services are working. Let's test out a Street View address. Let's hope it's covered. Street View is working just fine. We can do a little zooming. And again, you might be able to see that it's a little choppy. So I don't know why. And we can also see that there is no compass mode. So that means that this phone does not have a magnetic field sensor built in. That should cover the Google apps. Let's see what Antutu has to say. It's initializing and it scored around 16,000 points. I did several tests and usually it scores around 16 to 70,000 points. Let's check out some info. As we can see, it's running on Android 4.4.2. It has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 and the Adreno 305, a full HD pixel resolution, a 13 megapixel camera. Right here we have the GPU, and let's check out the display. Let's test the multi-touch, and we have a 5-point multi-touch, and let me scroll all the way down to show you the supported sensors on this phone. We have a G sensor, accelerometer, light sensor, etc. and so on. But of course we're also gonna test the sensors. Let's check out the sensor box for Android. No, go back. Let's test the accelerometer, and of course it's working fine, no surprise there. We also have a light sensor. Let's give it a try, and as you can see, it's working fine. Back to the sensors. There's no orientation sensor, but we do have a proximity sensor working no problem, but that's about it except for the sound sensor. Of course that's working fine, no surprise here, but no gyroscope, no magnetic field sensor. So what else can I show you? Let me clear some memory and let me show you a Nina Mark II test result, and it scored at 36.9 frames per second, which I believe is not a lot, but I guess that's thanks to the CPU, of course. Let's try Quadrant Standard. Let's just give it a try and run a full benchmark, and of course this is boring, so let me do a jump cut. Almost done. And the score is, damn, I can't even read this, 8,283 points. I don't know if that's a lot, but that's the way it is. We can also check out CPU Z. Again, we can see it is a quad-core CPU and it's clocked at 1.2 GHz. And again, let's check out the sensors. Now it lists more sensors than it has. I don't know where it's getting that information, but those sensors are definitely not there. I can also show you the flashlight real fast. You probably won't be able to see. It is just okay. It is not too exciting. I've seen better, I've seen worse. We can also test the Wi-Fi strength signal, and to give you an idea how good or bad it is, let's just compare it to my Xiaomi Mi 4. And let me reload that. Now this is of course not right. Now usually my Mi 4 gets a better signal strength. I don't know why it's not getting a good signal strength right now, but trust me on this one, I've tested it several times. The Wi-Fi reception is pretty much the same on these both phones. Let me exit this, and what else can I show you? Let me start the browser. Let me go into my bookmarks and let me just load the BBC homepage. And it's loading and still loading, and scrolling is not a problem, but I don't know if you can see this. Zooming is a little choppy and it's a little laggy. I have no idea why that is. Maybe it's the CPU, maybe it's the GPU, or maybe it's the firmware. I really can't tell you why that is. Let me get out of the browser. Let's quit. And last but not least, no, not last but not least, let me go into the gallery. Let's test out some videos. Right here we have a 4K video, and no surprise, 4K video is not supported. Can't play this video, but of course we can test a 1080p video. Let's give it a try. And a 1080p video is running smoothly, so up to 1080p, but no more with the gallery video player. Let's check out some photos. Let me go into my wallpapers. They're loading quite fast. Let me load some pictures here. Let's see, which one do I want to show you? Let me just flick through some pictures. No, that's not a problem at all. Zooming, now this time it's smooth. And the colors and brightness look really cool. I mean, not the brightness, but the contrast and the colors and the viewing angles are good. But the display brightness is not the best I've seen, but I'll tell you all about that in a second. Let me just go into the camera to show you some of the camera settings. Now, this is nothing to get too excited about. It has all the usual settings. Let's check out some settings. We can see it takes pictures up to 13 megapixels. And of course we have an HDR function and just the usual stuff. Anyway, let me just tell you what I'm thinking about this phone right now. Some thoughts about this phone. The build quality is very good. It really feels like a premium phone. The display is also very good, but not great. Okay, the screen resolution is great, but the brightness could be better. The performance is just okay in my opinion. I mean, 17K on Antutu is not that impressive anymore. The Wi-Fi reception is good, it's close to my Mi 4. The GSM 3G and 4G reception and also the call sound quality is good, nothing to complain about. The rear speaker sound quality is just okay. It's clear, but it could be louder, and it has no bass whatsoever. The GPS appears to be very good, and thanks to GLONASS, very stable as well. I also like the battery performance. I did a Geekbench 3 battery test. If you're interested in the result, please make sure to check out the result on my blog. The two cameras, or at least the main camera, takes nice pictures. Again, please check out my blog for some sample pictures, because this is always in the eye of the beholder. The LED flash is just okay. Some obvious cons: this phone does not have many sensors. It only has the basic sensors one might need. It does not have a notification LED, and if the specs are right, this phone does not support many LTE bands, and the stock launcher appears to be a little laggy. Bottom line, it is very inexpensive, it has Dualsim LTE and a Full HD display, but in my opinion this phone is nothing special that will blow your mind, but it's definitely worth the money. Last but not least, let me try to show you the viewing angles of this phone and do a little gaming. Thank you so much for watching and hope to see you next time.